starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, this is your girl SC BookGal 843, and it is another Tuesday night. How are you guys? Okay, I am saying I am great. I am excellent. Today was a good day. It was cold. I'm really getting tired of this cold weather, but I will not complain because I can't take that snow that they got up north. Prayers to everybody up north. Y'all stay warm. Keep your snow to yourself, but stay warm. You guys, do you know what this week is? I just looked at my calendar just now while we were coming up and I was sharing this podcast with everyone on my social media network. This week is the week of a young black child, Children's Book Week. This week, you guys. And this is crazy because I have a children's author. It's Black History Month. I mean, we just tying it all in together and ending it with a bang. And it is wonderful, you know? Um, Nowadays it's we know it's kind of hard being African American, especially in the times that we're in right now. But you know what? I'm still proud. And I look at my little girl, and she was dancing on Sunday, and at church they were doing the old hymns, and we came home and we were talking about it. It was a great way to start to close out our Black History Month. But then I decided that we won't end it. Black History Month will continue with me and her because when Jesse Jackson died, my daughter said, "Who was Jesse Jackson?" Y'all, I was like, okay. So you didn't talk about anybody in Black History in your school? She's like, no, we decorate the door. Like, yeah, we need to have some conversation. So having the time to reflect and all the activities that are going on. I know it won't end here, but it is a great launching point. So, with all that being said, this little book is so cute, you guys. Okay? If you got your little people and you want to bring them in, you can. If not, because I know it's their bedtimes, show them this tomorrow, okay? Because it'll be great for them to see an African American children's author, okay? Tonight, I have the privilege of talking to Dr. Linda Holloway. She is a counselor educator at Alabama State University and has been in for over 32 years. 32 years of Black excellence, you guys, okay? She is also a story activist, spoken word artist, and a multi award winning author of 8 children's books. And I saw all of them. If you go to her Amazon page, she shows them all. Like, this is this. Yes, okay? Dr. Holloway enjoys using storytelling to educate, elevate, and empower children to believe in themselves and to love who they are. She lives by her own motto, which is dream your own dream. She enjoys spending her spare time with her family and friends, watching movies, oops, something we have in common, reading a good book, another thing we have in common, and doing absolutely nothing. Another thing we have in common. So, y'all, this is my sister from another mother, okay? Because we do that all together, okay? You guys, let's bring up author Linda Holloway. Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing outstanding.
So, you guys, I'm gonna have to tell you, look at the wrap. I wish I could do stuff like that. It is so pretty. That's the first thing I told her. You're so pretty. So, I read a little bit about you, but tell us something that's not in your bio about you that you would love to share.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to just thank everyone for being here on the podcast. And for those of you all who will view it later, I just want to say Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I also want to thank you for giving me this wonderful, amazing opportunity. Something about me that is not in there, but you'll probably find if you look me up, is I spent 27 years in the military, United States Army Reserve, did 4 combat tours. That I am really proud of having to have served my country, but also have successfully survived 4 combat tours. What even more important to me, and it's very significant to me. It is I'm originally from the great state of Mississippi, more specifically Mount Bayou, Mississippi, which is an all-black town that was founded by former enslaved individuals Isaac Montgomery and Benjamin T. Green.
Okay, so she was at this level of black excellence. She just went all the way up to here with the black excellence. Oh my God. You go, Diva. So, children's books. What made you want to become a children's book author?
As you mentioned, I've been in a counselor. I'm a counselor educator, which I've been over 30 something. The thing about it is when you're writing and you're doing research, you're talking about women. And so, but one of the things I discovered along that process is that these women had been young girls. And so I really wanted a product that I could put in the hand of young children in the form of intervention and prevention. And I said, what better way to do that than through a children's book? Because oftentimes through stories, is that's how we convey to them about various things, whether we want to talk to them about kindness, whether we want to talk to them about social activism. The best way to do that is through sharing a story. And so that inspired me to want to write children books.
Well, as a parent, I want to first say first, I thank you. I see the difference. I have a 23-year-old and I have a 10-year-old. And when my 23 was 10, there were very little books about kids and the main character or one of the main characters was African American. It was
Mhm.
always about, and no offense, you guys, but I'm gonna be honest. It was always about a white boy and a dog. Now I could take my daughter to the library because of authors like you and say have a field day. So I thank you. And to step in the gap and have it historical and African American, your excellence level now going up a little bit more. So I would like to ask, why historical fiction?
Well, all of my books are not necessarily historical fiction, but I really like history. As you can tell, even when I was telling you about where I was from in Mount Bayou, Mississippi, I gave you a little bit of history. And so history to me is very significant. Excuse me. So being able to set the context and being able to talk about it is very significant. So when you're talking with children and they have a question of why, well, how did this happen? And so being able to give them and provide that historical context allows them to know that this is not something new, that it does has a historical context and being able to understand. For example, we have Bad Girls of Montgomery. And BAD stands for bold and determined. But these were women who participated in the Montgomery bus boycott movement. And we just lost Claudia Colvin. She passed away, but she was about 14 years old. And she was before Rosa Parks. So you had several other women who had been involved in this. And so being able to share these with children is very significant because it allows them to have a broader concept and a better picture as to what has happened and why it has happened.
So which one of your characters in the Bad Girls of Montgomery make the biggest contribution to you?
Ooh, that's a that's a really good question. It's a very interesting question. They all do, and for many different reasons. because of their personality. So if I had to just pick one, it would be very challenging because, like I said, like just like Claudia, because she was young. But then I would say Susan McDonald because she was a fair skinned woman and she could pass for white. But she would oftentimes, when she would get on the bus, she would let people know that I am not a white person. I am black. So they all really touched my heart. And there was another one, I want to say Mary Smith, who was really not included in the lawsuit because, as you would say, she was on the other side of the railroad track, so to speak. And that really was significant to me because I grew up on a farm. I am the ninth child, the last, first generation. So oftentimes people have perceptions and stereotypes about who you are, and they will respond and treat you a certain way. So she really touched my heart in a lot of different ways. So they all was very significant to me with their particular story. But if I had to just pick one, I would definitely say Claudia Kaufman, because here you have a 15-year-old child who really kind of got erased and left out of history that we didn't know about, who took a stand and did not want to give up her seat.
That's true because I really didn't know much about her until she passed. I was like, but I thought Rosa was. I was like, nope. There was a 14-year-old girl, and I think they said the reason why Rosa got the attention because she was an adult and she was
Mhm.
working with an organization. Nobody really wasn't, and I'm talking my team term. Nobody was checking for the 14-year-old, you know. So it makes a lot of sense. Why did you feel that this book needed to be written?
Well, this book really came to me. I had worked at another institution, so I was moving from Huntsville, Alabama to Montgomery, Alabama. And because I like history and I began to look at the lawsuit and I began to learn about different things. And so were the multitude of things that really, truly inspired me because I wanted people to know about the other women that were involved that don't often get talked about that had played a very significant role in the Montgomery bus boycott movement. And so, also in the counseling education, one of my areas is Black women and mental health. And so, oftentimes, women get left out as we transition. Of course, we're going to celebrate Black History every day, all day for 365 days, 366 days, just depends on the year. But as we go into March, we'll be celebrating women. But as a Black woman, I want to make sure that Black women voices are not silent and that those stories are told. And so, who best can actually do that? Because obviously, those stories may not get as much attention. And so, that's uh, a lot of the reasons as to why.
Now, you say you have 8 books. Can you tell me about some of your other books?
Absolutely. Uh, just to provide the audience some idea, these books really came from articles that I'd written. So my first book is I Love My Happy Hair, and it's about a little girl who, doesn't like her hair. So it's called I Love My Happy Hair. It's one of my favorites. Little Miss Linda Goes to Counseling. I'm a counselor educator, so we talk about mental health. I had a really good friend who has transitioned, and there are a lot of Black people who suffer from sickle cell, so it kind of gets into bullying. So this is Little Miss Linda talk about sickle cell disease, and then this is Little Miss Linda speaks out about rape. Once again, historically, Black women have been raped. No, it seems like a very harsh term. It doesn't talk about what actually happens to a person, but it does allow children to have a voice and talk about good touch and bad touch. And the next one is Little Miss Linda speaks out about diversity. This particular book deals with colorism, so dark skin versus light skin. And then you have, of course, we have Bad Girls of Montgomery. as I now live
Hmm.
in Montgomery. And then we have little Miss Linda Coates with divorce, because many of our children are dealing with divorce. And so, how do they deal with that type of situation? And also, we have little Miss Linda speaks out about death, because death is all around us, it happens all the time. And so, being able to have a healthy conversation around grief, Black trauma and grief can look totally different. As you came on, you mentioned Jesse Jackson had transitioned. And so being able to talk to your daughter about who he was, but also what does it mean when a person died and how he may be celebrated versus someone else who may not who's made that transition. So it's very important that we have these conversations, because we're seeing this, children are being exposed to this all the time. There's violence in the school, people are shooting people, in the grocery store. You are in South Carolina. We know the situation that happened in Charleston in the church, because you say we got home from church. So we are not in places that we call safe places. And so people are losing their lives. So being able to have conversation, and then we're dealing with massive death. So it's not like a single death, but multitudes of death.
I have to say this. Thank you. You are, and if I have seen somebody else, I apologize. But you are the first African American author that I've seen that actually targets and places the books of subjects that we as African Americans we don't talk about to our kids. Okay. Especially the one about death. My daughter, she knows that there's a certain time, and you spoke about it, church shooting. That was a great friend of mine, my mentor. She
Hmm.
knows when that time of the year come around, and I have to talk to her about it. But I have yet to see a book. Now, I've seen books about suicide. I've seen all these books, but
Hmm.
I've yet to see them with an African American child inside the book or on the cover. Yes, we celebrate um, death in a totally different manner. And I remember talking to my sisters because I first went to a different type of funeral for another coworker.
Hmm.
And even at work, we talked about it one time. We was like, y'all do y'all's in 3 days. We get 7 days. What's the difference? Being able to have this book series geared toward children of color. Thank you. I thank
Thank
you so much.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Little Miss Linda, how did you come up with the character? How did you come up with a name? And she's the most cutest thing I've ever seen. So talk about Little Miss Linda a little bit.
Really, Little Miss Linda is my voice. It's just a younger version of me, and I just because my name is Linda, and so I wanted to use that as a way to talk about the messages from a child perspective, as I had, uh, written articles on the topics from a adult perspective. So now this is the little part of me speaking to younger children, if you would. And I kind of, these books to me are more like lesson plans, if you would. They all have what I call LOLs, learning out loud questions. So the students get to, or the children get to answer questions. They also have scavenger hunt. So because they are challenging topics, I wanted to also make it interesting, make it fun, if you would. And I know some people are saying, what's fun about this? But you try to do that in the way, in the sense that you make it inviting. So even with the deaf book, her mother just, goes to the doctor and find out she has cancer, and the doctor tells her she's, 7 months to live. So they create memories. And so it's just to let children know that they can create these memories. She was able to have a jar where she could put questions in, and her mother could answer the question. Same way with the divorce book, but in this book, the mother and the father were together, and so the pink questions were for the mom to answer, and the blue questions were for the dad to answer, and so they gave her an opportunity to answer. So these are ideas that people can walk away and say, these are some things that I can incorporate into my life. And so with the Happy Hair book, we dance. There's a Happy Hair song. There's a pledge in there. So we have a good time with it, even though it can be a very challenging topic to talk about. Because as you know, that Black people have been discriminated against and talked about their hair. Some people are not being able to be involved in athletic events. They have to cut their hair, or some people have lost their job because of their hair. Black people now have a crown law to say, I can literally wear my hair natural the way my hair grows out of my head. There's got to be a law to say that. So it's just a great way to introduce some very challenging topics to kids, but in a way that is safe and that is healthy so they can have these conversations.
And you're saying for kids, but as a parent, you're
Mm,
actually giving us the tools that we need. And to reiterate the memories, and my daughter knows that when my mother passed, she passed away from cancer.
mm.
She literally had all her grands together and she started singing with them. My daughter didn't remember that to this day, and it's a happy memory. Even though Granny's not here, they enjoy that memory. So you're helping the kids, but then on the other hand, you're helping us as parents to be able to have these conversations that can be considered tough, but giving us the tools that we need to get to 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 make it do what it do. you know, I'm just so at awe. I'm really at awe. But even
And that
when
was
you're
one of the things about the book. I wanted the parents, I wanted educators, social workers, anybody that was working with children, whether you're in the church. And I also, these are topics. I created the book, even though they are children books, but I can actually use them as adult. About a week ago, I got the opportunity to speak with the students here at ASU that are in education, and I talked about mental wellness. And I said, "Can I tell you a little story?" And they was like, "Yeah, So we kind of chatted back and forth. And I told them the little story about little Miss Linda seeking counseling. And they really enjoyed it. And I gave them the book. And some of them, I try to sign the books beforehand. And I had not signed it. It was just so excited, because I was wondering in my mind, like, how would this go over? They're in college, but they was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great." They was really happy to get it.
it makes so much sense because nine times in ten, we didn't have those books. And now we have it. So, oh my God, this is excellent. You are so ahead of the times for us as an African American community. You're so ahead of the times because we're going to catch up. We're evidently going to catch up. And I see that coming. But now, my friend, remember I told you backstage that we're going to have some fun? Here we go.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
time to get those questions. So, you said you like movies. All right. So,
Okay.
who would you give the honor of playing Little Miss Linda? Childhood a child actor.
Oh, a child actor. Ooh.
Mhm.
Oh Lord, I don't even
I
know a
gotta think
child
about this one
actor.
too.
I don't
Okay.
even know a child actor.
Okay. I'll give you some examples. So you have, and I'll just say the actor names. You
Okay.
have Rudy Huxtable. You
Okay.
have um, Laura Winslow, Eddie Winslow. Um, Judy went upstairs, but she never came back down. You got
Whoever it is.
everybody on the Cosby Show. You have, oh, what's the one?
I guess I was
Blackish.
trying to think of. Oh yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know what her name is, but the young lady on Blackish.
Oh
You
my
know,
God. Her name
I
was
don't know.
just on the tip of my tongue. It was Jip. Y'all know me. Y'all know I'm gonna go look. Y'all know I'm about to pull
It
out the
was.
phone. Go look.
If
Um,
not, then I'll definitely Rudy.
why Rudy?
Just in growing up and just watching her, her personality and little Miss Linda is bold. She talks about bold issues. She's unafraid, and so Rudy had that about her.
I think Rudy would too, but the young lady who you say of a blackish,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
reason why I
Absolutely.
can see her is
Absolutely.
because every movie she has played in, it has always been something powerful. And the fact that
Right.
she has done so many things in her young lifespan.
And she
Um,
produced her own movie. I think she was a producer for.
right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Because I don't know her name. I like.
Marseille Martin. That's
Yeah, when Marcy comes up, but I didn't want to get the Martin part. Okay.
okay. So we got Marcy Martin playing Little Miss Linda, but now we have to figure out who is going to play her mother. Who would you give the honor of playing the mother of Little Miss Linda? But she's your favorite author.
Oh,
She
that's
got all the books. Like I don't know who to choose.
no, really don't. Living or dead?
Living or dead.
Okay, I'm gonna say Alice Walker.
Ooh, you went. Oh, you went there. So now you got to tell us why Alice Walker.
Um, I've just admire her work, different things she's done, and Little Miss Linda Mother was very involved in her life, a social activist, and that's the goal in terms of the book. So I think it would say that.
All right. So now we have Alice Walker and we have Marcy Martin. But Little Miss Linda needs a theme song. She needs her fight song. Which song would you use? You say is your inspiration. What's the name of the
um,
song and why?
does it have to be a children's song?
No, no.
I and I know it got played over and over and over again, but they not like us. I think it's the slogan, and it has so many layers to it. And of course, people may say, "Who is they?" And it could be a multitude of things. So, and the beat was just phenomenal. So
It was.
I would have to say, because as you go through the books and you think about blacks and mental health and why the stigmatization around them not going to counseling. You think about Black people and their hair, how it has been weaponized, Black grief, the trauma that comes with that, Black families. So it's just not, we don't have Black love, but just trying to figure all of that out because families were torn apart and things of that nature. And you just have to say they're not like us.
Okay, so you done hit it. So we got Marcy Martin, then we have Alice Walker, and we have They
Kendrick
Are
Lamar.
Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. So before we leave, is Little Miss Linda doing anything else we should be looking forward to?
Little Miss Linda is really in a stage of because I look at these books as my children. So now it's time to nurture them and make sure that people know that they exist because in a lot of ways they're silent books, meaning they have been written. and getting people to understand the dynamics of them and how they can be utilized. So that's how little Miss Linda has been spending her time, being on platforms, going out to schools, churches, wherever she can be invited, and so that she can be seen, she can be heard, and understood.
Little Miss Linda, come on and walk on around. We need you to walk and give more parents and more children these books so they can get the help that they need and realize that, hey, we have feelings too. They ain't like us, but now we got a book that is like us. And we thank you for that all the time. But before we leave tonight, can you give us the rundown? And what I mean by the rundown is how we could follow you, how we can purchase your books. We do have your information scrolling at the bottom, but just make sure that we are able, as the audience and readers, to connect with you.
You can connect with me now through email, lindahollowayspeak@gmail.com. I tend to respond a lot faster through that social media platform. Uh, you can follow me on YouTube, and also my Facebook is public, so I post, where I'm going to be, what's going to be happening with there's things that I've done. And the book is on a lot of online platforms. I tend to, if you don't want to do Amazon, there are other online platforms that you can actually purchase the book from. Obviously, if you want to directly contact me so that you can get a signed copy, you can definitely do that, and I will make sure that you get it.
Well, Miss Linda, we thank you for helping us. I don't want to say close out Black History, but we could say that close out Black History Month, close out Children's Book Week in the best way possible. As a parent, I thank you. As a person who works in that service industry, I thank you. Okay. And just as an African American, I thank you. Okay. Just
And I
please.
thank you for the opportunity to be on the platform, you know, and to have this opportunity. So I want to say thank you. I thank you for what you're doing, not just for me, but for all other authors, that you allow to have this to come on, that we can have this opportunity. And this is after she get off work, and now she's got to go back and be a mom. So I just want to say thank you from the depth of my heart.
It is an honor to be able to, like I said, I've never known there were books for children, African American children, on social issues. This is mind blowing to me, like totally mind blowing. So it's like I'm excited. You just don't understand how excited I am because this is one of those things that if you can I put in a request?
Sure.
Can Ms. Linda write a book on Sassy Mouse? I need help over here. You gotta help me with everything else. I need help with that one.
I
But
know, right?
it's 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 an honor. It's truly an honor. You really don't understand the magnitude of what you've done for parents and for children, our children. You really don't understand. If I was to take you to where we talked about earlier and
Hmm.
show you that area, you'd be like, really? Like, yes, really, really. And like you said, it's true. They aren't like us. And this book's help us. Thank you. Thank you for being with me
Thank
tonight.
you. Thank you.
You guys, again, we thank Ms. Holloway for being with us tonight. Y'all go grab the books, okay? I'm going to put them on the blog with this. Y'all know, give me 24 hours, okay? Y'all don't rush me now because y'all come find you, okay? Give me 24 hours. I will have the links to her book and this podcast interview, okay? We thank you. We thank you. We thank you again. So, you guys, it's another Tuesday night in the books, okay? Remember, I'm going to be back here next week with another author and another book. I want to say T. Ashley up next. Y'all wait until we get into this book, okay? Remember, you guys,